as Lenin explained, that imperialism is the highest stage of capitalism, that complete merger of the banks, the largest industries and corporations, defended by a monstrous military machine. Imperialism needs war because if capitalism can't constantly expand, it literally suffocates. It's driven to capture new markets, and that drive is ruthless. Any country breaking away from imperialist exploitation threatens the very existence and the future of imperialism. So they hate every one of the controls in China, and they're always trying to gain the upper hand and force new trade agreements. And this is really what the pivot to Asia is all about: how to surround and threaten China and impose and force new concessions, and to do so militarily. And it's interesting, they have revived and asserted this term as they bring their warships and their battleships into the area, that these are just freedom of navigation operations. Now, you can imagine how that resonates in China and what they know that the U.S. is planning to do because they've lived it before. Now, as the U.S. Navy sees it, they said, well, China has a rather unique interpretation of international law. They feel that there should be no freedom of navigation for warships and military airplanes and overflight. That there should only be freedom of navigation for commercial ships of every country. Imagine that. I mean, and this is true. Again and again, China's drawn the distinction between commercial and military vessels. The Chinese Foreign Ministry stated that no country except the United States believes in military vessels sailing wherever they want. And it isn't just in China. The sail into times past the harbors in Nicaragua and Venezuela and impose in Cuba and the Philippines to take the agreements, the treaties, the concessions that they want.
Welcome to a great episode. I feel like it's going to be great of RBN Live Tuesdays. I'm one of your hosts. I'm CJ. What's up, man?
What's poppin', my friends, my family? It's good to be here. Good to be back. RBN Live Tuesday. Here with my boy CJ. That was a good intro clip. They've been ringing the bells to go to war with China extremely aggressively over the last few days. I want to insert this clip. I saw this earlier. I want to cover it, so I think this now is a good time to cover it now. There was flagged by Caitlin Johnstone. There's one of many examples where if you turn on MSNBC, and I've been seeing it a ton. I said it in a live stream yesterday. I would look at an anti-China segment every once in a while on MSNBC. Every few days, every 3-4 days, give or take. They had Ali Veshi. It would be either Ali Veshi or Joe Scarborough who will lead the way on those segments. Now, everybody, all hands on deck. The only people that not doing it like that aggressively are people like Joanne Reed, like the Chris Hayes, the people they want to present as the young progressive voices. Everyone else is doing it in an unbelievably aggressive way because they see China as a rising threat, and there can't be any opposing alternative to capitalism shown to the world.
It's funny you have this clip because this and the clip I played were the two I was debating to be the intro. So this is great that you're inserting this here, but go ahead.
Base Caitlin Johnstone. Let's play the video and then we can react to it.
Make the basic case for why Americans not only should care about what happens in Taiwan, but should be willing to spill American blood and treasure to defend Taiwan.
Nobody wants that. I think the deterrence is key here. We traveled to Japan, South Korea. We are in Guam. We're meeting with our allies, our partners here, if you will. They don't have a NATO in the Pacific, but they do have partners. We want to make sure that they are ready and supportive of the United States and Taiwan. The case for Taiwan, that's a very good question. About 50% of international trade goes through the international straits, but I think more importantly, Chuck, is that the TSMC manufactures 90% of the advanced global supply of advanced semiconductor chips. If China invades and either owns or breaks this, we're in a world of hurt, globally.
Congressman, it almost sounds like the case that would be made in the 60s, 70s, and 80s of why America was spending so much money and military resources in the Middle East. Oil was so important for the economy. Is this sort of the 21st century version of that?
I personally, I think it's about democracy.
Dude, what is going on, CJ? And I don't think
it was like he was telling the truth for a minute. Then it was like, oh, no, this is democracy. I forgot.
Dude, this is the second time we told Todd accidentally destroying the neocon. You remember Anthony Blinken?
Yeah.
That interview where
Chuck Todd
the question. He didn't even want to destroy him, but he did because the United States foreign policy position on Taiwan, China's so ridiculous. So I don't know if you guys noticed here, but Chuck Todd destroyed this guy because he brings up all these economic reasons, semiconductors. This is why it's important to fight for Taiwan. And Chuck Todd was like, wait, so this sounds like the Iraq War and fighting for oil. Why shouldn't we take it like that? He's like, oh shit, actually, I thought it was a comfortable interview. I thought I was at home. No, actually, freedom, democracy.
He's like, I thought I was talking to Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi. Sorry.
He was saying the quiet part way too out loud.
Do you mind playing like the last 30 seconds?
Yeah,
I want people to zero in on when he mentions the semiconductor part. In the percentage, like, because this is what they're zeroing in on for the future. This is what they're afraid of. If they corner this, anyway, play that last 30 seconds, if you will, please.
If China invades and either owns or breaks this, we're in a world of hurt, globally.
Congressman, it almost sounds like the case that would be made in the 60s, 70s, and 80s of why America was spending so much money and military resources in the Middle East. Oil was so important for the economy. Is this sort of the 21st century version of that?
I personally, I think it's about democracy and freedom.
That's the part where we had his brain fried, and he realized, like, fuck, I understand what this is really about.
Like, I mean, what do they think when these little Freudian slips in media happen? What do they think we're thinking? Like, do they think does he think he broke the fourth wall in this show that he's putting on? He broke the fourth wall, and now he's trying to put it back up. And the meaning, like, that'll be like somebody on a TV show turning to the camera and then being himself instead of the actor character, and then trying to come back and be like, sorry, back to my character. And that's what I think of when I think of that or see that.
Remember, guys, and I covered this yesterday. Emmanuel Macron met with Xi Jinping. Then he came back to the West, and he was like, "Man, that man was spitting heat. He was spitting fire, son. Maybe we should have strategic autonomy." Then we start saying strategic autonomy away from the United States. Jeez. That means, hey, I like what Xi is pushing more than the United States. My people about to fry my ass. I was following the United States, and now my people about to fry me. Fuck that shit. We see. I don't believe in Macron like that. I just think that's a funny way to put it. We see.
He could be just showing for the people that's protesting in the streets. I mean, he could be doing that. So they
and to be clear, guys, I do think that's a possibility. I just think that's a hilarious blowback from the West that Macron even had the balls to say that. Look at this map right here. CJ, I'm just going through some receipts. Feel free to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
As the United States holds its largest ever military exercise in the Philippines, involving over 17,000 forces. A reminder that there are over 259 U.S. bases surrounding China. But tell me more about how China is encircling Taiwan. And if you watch these propaganda outlets, you will see people selling the idea to the boomers, the cowbell left, as RBN and Due Distance call these people now, where they're like, "Oh my God, China's been so aggressive, we have to counter them." How dare a country have the nerve to protect their sovereignty? That's essentially what United States neocons have said.